As the war in West Asia severely strains global energy corridors and chokes transit through the vital Strait of Hormuz, well, Trump has aggressively touted surging U.S. crude output and record LNG exports as the anchor of American dominance. Now, Trump insists these policies safeguard the economy, but the narrative of cheap domestic energy is colliding with harsh market realities. U.S. consumers are acutely feeling the pinch at the pump. Driven by geopolitical shocks from the West Asia conflict, retail gasoline prices have spiked dramatically, surging past a national average of $4 a gallon during peak months. While U.S. consumers are essentially paying more than 20% year over year for fuel at the pump. Now, the collateral damage is bleeding intensely across international allies. Europe is still reeling from past supply realignments and faces renewed industrial paralysis and steep utility inflation as it competes fiercely with Asia for scarce American LNG shipments. Stripped of reliable pipeline flows, European economies are paying a heavy structural premium to outbid global spot markets just to keep factories running and secure winter preserves. Meanwhile, developing non-producing nations like Bangladesh and Pakistan, for example, are being priced out entirely, triggering severe foreign exchange drains and balance of payment crisis. Emerging economies are forced to enact painful austerity measures as the strong dollar and high global energy benchmarks compound domestic inflation. Even major importers are caught in the geopolitical crossfire. Large importers like India find themselves navigating a high-stakes squeeze. Forced to diversify away from volatile West Asian corridors, economies relying heavily on foreign crude face soaring import bills and intense pressure from Washington's secondary trade policies. Ultimately, as the U.S. pushes an export-heavy energy agenda under the shadow of war, everyday consumers at home and industrialized as well as developing economies abroad are footing an escalating bill. And for more on this, we have with us today Subhash Chandra Garg, former Finance Secretary of India, joining us live from New Delhi. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Garg, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Right, so starting off, U.S. crude exports are approximately above 6 million barrels a day, and U.S. President Donald Trump is taking credit. But when oil prices rise, who really wins? Is it the American shale firms, big oil, or oil exporting countries? Where do the windfall profits actually go?
This is typical of Mr. Trump to claim credit for whatever works in his favor. At this moment, oil companies essentially, and that too outside the West Asia, are gaining all the profits. You saw the BP putting out the record profits. Others are also doing, and Trump claiming larger exports from America because the other producing stations are pumping much less. So that is typical of him. But you notice an irony, which you had also highlighted in the report, that the US consumers themselves are also suffering. Besides all the other petroleum products consumers of the world like India, so they are paying far more for their gas prices. Countries like India are forced to import the costlier crude as well as LNG from America, which doesn't in the normal times make any sense. So he obviously is speaking for the oil companies and which is his, in a way, constituency, so to say, rather than the people of the United States.
Right, and Mr. Garg, we hear energy dominance, but, at the pump and in transport costs, are U.S. households and small businesses, effectively subsidizing oil company profits through higher prices? Are we looking at that?
Of course, they're not subsidizing, they're paying heavily to make the U.S. companies and other European oil companies profit soar. This is a straight transfer. It's a rip-off of the people towards the oil companies. They are getting richer and richer. So if some shareholders, some companies make all the profits at the cost of all the consumers in the world, who actually gains? It's a very unfair deal for the people of the world.
Right, and shifting to India now. For India, which imports most of its crude, is high oil price right now, more of a fiscal headache, a growth killer, or a geopolitical vulnerability? And what should New Delhi be doing differently? Is it hedging? Is it diversifying suppliers? Or is it accepting some of this pain as inevitable?
See, the government of India's priorities are very clear. They want the supplies at whatever cost, wherever available. They don't want the Indian consumers to suffer shortages, and they are also fiscally sheltering the consumers by not raising the prices as much as would have otherwise been justified. There was a reduction in price last month. They did not pass on that benefit. So they are trying to recoup the old losses in the first quarter. But their priorities is very clear. That's the reason why they're buying the gas as well as the oil from the United States, and also ethanol, so to say, so that the pumps remain well supplied. So government of India is diversifying in the sense wherever it is available, including America, Russia, or wherever. But and that may have impact on other countries who are not in a position to buy, like Pakistan and Bangladesh you mentioned. But Indians are very clear that whatever be the cost, we will buy wherever and keep the pumps supplying.
Correct. We'll just have to wait and see how the prices of crude oil is going to shift the dynamics of the world economy. But thank you so much, Subhash Chandra Garg, for joining us today and getting us your insights.
Thank you.